everyone. Thank you for joining us today on Dufresne Faith Journal. We were talking last time about patience and what the importance of patience and believing for all that God has for you. And today we have some other things we want to discuss with you to hopefully help you get into all that God has.
You know, Morg, we were talking about patience, but on the last episode we said that we were going to talk a little bit about preparation time. I think people forget how important preparation time is for patience. You don't realize how important it is. You know, growing up, I worked for my dad. I did everything that he told me to do. Well, in a way, he thought I didn't, and I think I did. But, you know, one of the things I learned, and you don't realize that you're learning, is I've done landscape, I've done framing, I've done all kinds of stuff. But in that, I have learned so much about ministry. When Dad went home to be with the Lord, you wouldn't realize how much I learned from doing all those items, and it fades into the ministry. One thing he did teach me is to have excellence. You know, he grew up in Long Beach. He didn't have very much, and it really made an impression on him. And one thing I always learned from him is to be looking around for things that are not perfect. What can be fixed? What can be done? Is there weeds that need to be cut down? Things like that. And I learned so much to have that spirit of excellence in that time. And I never thought that things like that, when it comes to landscaping, things like that, would fade in to the ministry. Yeah. And it really does. All those items really fade into the ministry, even keeping vehicles clean and all that. It all is a spirit of prosperity. Yeah. And people forget that.
I would have to say that we had decided before we got into the home that we're in now, when we were believing for a new home and we've been believing for some other things, that what we had, we take care of.
Right.
So even if you're not where you want to be, even if you don't have to the level that you're believing for, take care of the things that you have now. And that's one thing that his dad and Pastor Nancy have instilled in us is whatever it is that we have, whether it's taking care of the outside of the property, taking care of the building, taking care of your home. Teach your kids to take care of their toys. You know, we're sticklers on if the boys are not being good with their toys and not playing with them the way they're supposed to, we'll take them away, because we want them to understand that they'll never have more being rough or mistreating what they already have. And so take what you have right now, don't mistreat it, be good with it, take care of it, appreciate it, be thankful for it. A lot of people are griping and complaining with where they're at, but trying to believe God for more. You'll never get into the more. That's what my husband is talking about with preparation. Sometimes we need to prepare our own hearts for the more that God has for us.
There was times I thought, my dad is too hard on me. It's just too much. I don't want to work for him no more. I'm gonna quit, I'm gonna leave. And when I look back now, it really helped me more. And it really changed my life, because I didn't know I would be, I don't know if you'd say, ejected to the front seat with my mom in the ministry. Here I was doing landscape, you know, just doing odds and ends. And a month later, I'm traveling with my mom.
Well,
preaching,
and I remember a conversation that a minister had with you in a service, and shared his own story of working for his dad. And this minister, we had just had this conversation before this ministry trip we'd gone on, and you said, man, you know, it's just getting tough. He's just so hard on me. I don't understand. And this minister did not know we had had this conversation, and talked to Stephen about the reason, by the Spirit, he shared these things by the Spirit. The reason your dad is so hard is he's training you to think like him, because one day you're going to need that. That was, I don't know, maybe 3 years before Dad went home. And we realized when Dad went home, we pulled that time of ministry back out, pulled out what that minister said, and we realized what he meant. And he became so grateful for his dad really teaching him excellence. Even when your flesh doesn't want to be excellent, it was the little things he learned to be excellent in, and it translated.
Right, and the man was telling me, and he's gone home to be with the Lord, but he told me that his father was extremely hard on him. And he said, and he never knew why. And one day his dad died, and here he was with a business that he had to do himself. And you can take things for granted at that time. And then when you're pushed to the front seat, you really realize and look back and go, oh my goodness, all of that was so valuable. Just day in and day out stuff. You know, one thing that me and Morgan have talked to ourselves about is we want God to be able to supply for us. We don't want to try to get it. That's one thing where people miss it. They try to make it happen. Yeah. They try to make things come to pass. They try to eject themselves into the ministry. Look, if you're called to be in the ministry, God will put you there.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, but that was something that I didn't long for, and I don't know if you did, is we didn't long to say, oh, one day I'd love to be a pastor. I'd love to be a traveling minister. I just said, you know what? I want God to I want to do what God has us do.
We just wanted to be faithful.
Right, and you know that we were okay with whatever God had for us. I was okay if all I did for the rest of my life was take care of the church. You know, I still do that, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I don't separate myself from those small things.
Yeah. Being diligent with the little things.
Right.
That's
and
part,
continue to stay.
That's right. That's part of the preparation is, like he said, people always want the great, but they never want to be faithful and diligent when they aren't in the great yet, or they aren't in the fullness of what God has. You'll never arrive to the fullness of all that God has for you if you can't be faithful and be diligent, be excellent, and see the little things and take care of the little things, and be faithful to somebody that you may be serving under, maybe working under. Because
you never know where God's going to take you.
You don't know where God's going to take you. And one day.
It could be overnight.
That's right.
It could be overnight.
And you reap, you know, the word says you reap what you sow. And so be somebody that sows into others, that sows into taking care of your things, and you'll end up reaping the best. You'll reap a great harvest from God because you've taken care of what He's already given you. So part of preparation is being thankful, taking care of what you already have, and being a good steward of somebody else's.
Right.
And just being a good student of those. He was a good student of his dad. Not all the time, but for the most part.
For the most part.
He was a good student, being a good student of those who may know more than you and who are training. Don't rush through your training season. Amen?
Right. So I think we'll wrap this episode up. We thank y'all. We love y'all for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.